Are you looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/bluewire and use code BLUEWIRE. That's code BLUEWIRE at prizepicks.com/bluewire for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Cars.com. With over 2 million vehicles and 50,000 more added every day, Cars.com will match you with the perfect car for you, your budget, your life, your style. And if you're ready to say goodbye to your current car, Cars.com will get you an instant offer to cash it in. Just start by entering your license plate and get matched with a local dealer who will write you the check. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, just go to Cars.com. It's magical.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Mavs Party. You are joining me on Spotify Live. It is about 11 o'clock on Monday, September 26th. We had Mavs Media Day today, and there's a lot said, there's a lot covered, but nothing that really jumped out at me. That said, I wanted to get together and talk with all you guys and figure out what the stories for the day were for you. We know that the Mavericks, the American Airlines Center roof got repaired today, which cracks me up because that was a problem repeatedly last season. There were some funny back and forths with Christian Wood acting like he didn't know that he was going to be a sixth man, and then a LOL tweet, as Coop notes in the chat, that was mainly sarcastic. It was one of these things where if you're reading everything 12 hours later, it feels like a great deal of drama. Instead, it was really boring, and I mean boring in all the best of ways, where we got to hear from some of the players. We learned that Reggie's cutting out red meat. He's looking forward to seeing what that does for his diet as he's in his 30s now, and things of that nature. And, we got to see really ripped Maxi Kleba. We got to see Luka Doncic and Nick Angstad of our favorite Locked On Mavs tweet have the same haircut, which we're not sure what that says about either of them, but we're just going to leave that out there as a hanging curveball. I want to hear what you guys have to say. So, go ahead and hit that speaker request button, and let's talk about the stuff that you found interesting from today. In the meantime, I want to point out that on MavsMoneyball.com, we have a number of reactions already and some maybe overreactions, and we're going to have a number of things coming up tomorrow from what we have going on here today. Jason Kidd, kind of kicked things off on Media Day where he was talking about, he says the themes were chemistry and accountability, and, kind of how he talked about things that might be of interest to this chat. We had a discussion on Sunday morning about things that we were looking forward to getting asked. I don't really think any of our questions actually got asked, but we learned that Josh Green may actually get back up point guard minutes, which puts me in a really terrible situation or circumstance because I want to make jokes, but I've also talked about wanting Josh Green to be able to play make to see if there's an element to that game. So that's really it's really important. I think it's a confirmation of something that we were looking forward to. And Frank Ntilikina, I think, might be misused as a point guard. He's played NBA basketball for 5 years now, and he's not really shown the point guard skills. there's just a lot of different stuff that was covered. So like I said, go ahead, guys, hit that speaker request button if you want to get up here and fire off any takes. There were, more than anything else, like Spencer Dinwiddie, had a lot to say. He's just really good at instilling confidence. Like he's the kind of guy that could talk you into buying crypto. That was really something. Tim Hardaway proclaimed himself 100% healthy. That was a lot of fun. He hurt his foot on sort of a freak injury. And the thing with foot injuries is that with blood flow to your extremities, it's sometimes like difficult to rehab. So we just didn't really know where he stood through most of the playoffs, despite the fact that he was on his feet cheering for the team. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he could do there. There was a lot to be said. I love this reaction. Brad Townsend actually asked Dorian Finney-Smith for his reaction when Jalen Brunson left, and Dorian Finney-Smith responded with, "Shoot, did you see how much money they gave him? I would have been mad if he stayed here." Really just, I enjoyed that one. Then there was, there's a little bit of Theo Pinson talk, because like, how could there not be Theo Pinson talk at this point in the preseason, where the NBA basically put some rules in effect that were meant to minimize the specific things that Theo Pinson was doing on the sideline during the playoffs. He said he doesn't know what the rules are yet, but he's looking forward to seeing what the loopholes are. So yeah, it was kind of a fun day to follow in hindsight. Josh Bowe and I just finished recording a podcast. We didn't get to cover it live. There were a lot of people that were either watching on the Twitch streams or they're live, doing, the live tweeting for us. That I thought was, I'm really appreciative going back and doing that because during the day I just had a little too much work going on. I was pretty entertained by a number of the other media days that were going out there. Russell Westbrook sounds like a disgruntled employee at like the fast food restaurant he doesn't want to work at, which just, made me feel really seen, because who hasn't worked in a place where you don't want to be? The Nets were just an absolute shit show, because they can't help be anything but. Kyrie Irving attempted to make himself a martyr again, which was really funny, where he basically was like, I gave up $100 million for reasons, for principles. And, every time Kyrie Irving says something, it's less what he's saying, because, occasionally he might be right about something, but he just reminds me of this scene from, what that thing you do, where the lead singer gets up and leaves the table, because he's mad that the label is violating his principles, and Steve Zahn deadpans as he walks away. I guess he's off to write that new hit song, Alone with My Principles. And it kills me. Holden in the chat finds a very, very appropriate gif. But here I am. I've been talking for almost 9 straight minutes, and none of you have anything interesting that you want to throw at me on this chat. There's 60 of you out there listening to this thing live on a Monday night following a Cowboys victory. There's got to be something interesting that you guys want to say. My main man Harold notes that he can't chat right now because it's too late, which I really appreciate that. And Aaron says we're not in game shape. Neither am I, my friend. Neither am I. Man, I will tell you, what this does is gives you appreciation for a guy like Colin Cowherd, who will literally talk to himself for 3 hours every day. All right, man, Taylor, kicking us off with something. What's up, my friend? Long time no talk.
What's up, man? It's been a minute. I guess I didn't want to hop in first because I don't want to be negative. I missed everything. Okay. I was working today, so I missed everything about Media Day. But, I mean, we just all kind of called it with the Josh Green thing. I was hoping that we were kind of half joking throughout the offseason that the first thing we were going to hear from Kid is, yeah, we really think that Josh Green can, be a playmaker for us. And
I'll tell you what, though, I don't hate it because it's going to be weird. Like, Josh Green does shit that nobody expects. Because it's just
yeah, for sure. I mean, I've always liked, even since the first time I saw him play, he moves the ball really well. The ball just never really sticks in his hands, even though, except for there were times where he just kind of, freaked in Utah and would kind of look at the basket and then basically run away from it. But I want to be positive for a kid that works hard and hopefully will improve. But it's just a real bummer to me that it really seems like they held that roster spot open thinking that something was going to fall into their lap for a third ball handler. But
let me read you something here. Let me read. This is interesting to me, and let me just get your read on this, because I read this yesterday and I felt that it was very important. Josh Bowe and I talked about this, so if you've listened to the podcast, for anybody listening after the fact, I apologize, you're hearing it again. Dwayne Price tweeted this out. I have no idea when Jason Kidd said this. It's my favorite thing about Dwayne. He just sort of tweets things out in the open. He could have said this on a podcast, Lord knows. But Kidd said, quote, "We wish him luck in New York, but we can't replace him. We're going to have to do it by committee because he brought so much to the table, not just on the court, but off." And there's, for me, kind of resident pessimist, shit poster, Kirk Henderson. There's something refreshing about hearing somebody say, this sucks, but we have to deal with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's because we've just been, we've had smoke blown up our asses by Cuban for so long, just being like, telling us, peeing on our leg and telling us it's raining. So it's not, I think you're right to say that it is kind of refreshing. It's so funny. I'm not even in the headspace for basketball yet, because
the Cowboys won tonight. So everybody's still stuck with the Cowboys. Yeah, it's great. Cowboys 2-1.
Cowboys won. My Longhorns lost to Tech on Saturday. So I guess I'm already starting to turn the page in my head and start getting ready to get for Mavericks basketball season.
Well, I understand, but it's like the smoke blowing up it's like something a bit of like I want to compare it slightly to a grieving process, because something about the fact that where you hear the organization admit that this sucks, but that they have to pair it off, makes me feel better about moving forward. And it's I'm going to be less likely to be like, well, if they hadn't fucked up Jalen Brunson, just because it's like such an admittance of a mistake. And that's where I've just taken so much issue where Cuban is constantly spinning towards the gold. Like when they missed out on Dwight Howard after pining for him for 2 years, there's this thing where it's like, well, we're better off without Dwight. We have pizza hands, Samuel Dallenberg. And it's like, what are we doing? No, we're not. Yeah. We're not better. It's okay.
Well, and that's the thing about Cuban is, I mean, he's a professional, spinner of his own products and of his own companies and stuff. So it's kind of hard to really expect him to do anything different at this point. So maybe that's just me being more mature, realizing that's just that's what we're gonna get. But I guess I am interested to see. I saw somebody in the chat say, maybe Pinson can get some run at that point, because I think the Pinson and Green's, their weird sort of wing ball handler, surprising ball handler ability is pretty similar. So maybe, I wouldn't be shocked if Theo ends up being almost just as efficient. Although I don't know, is he still? He's not on that two-way deal anymore.
No, he's on a real contract. He is a real player with the Mavericks.
And Dorsey is a two-way. We have Dorsey on a two-way.
Dorsey is the two-way, and we talked a little bit about this Sunday morning. It's worth mentioning again. Somebody, was it? It was my friend SJ on Twitter, who I think put this in my head, who said, maybe they hold on to him as a two-way player as long as possible, and then convert him if nothing comes from trade talks. Because with two-way deals, you can bring people up kind of as often as you want now. The NBA doesn't hold this sort of stuff like the way they used to.
They don't have that 41 game thing.
They used to, but COVID cracked that glass ceiling for these players, because it was just it was purposeless. If you want to play, it's like they used to have a 13-man active roster.
And I remember it was not only games, but it was number of days that you could even spend with the team. which was weird because then it if they went on a road trip, then they never played, and you just brought them for insurance, then it just ran the clock on that.
Yeah.
But I guess that makes sense. They probably changed up those rules. I'd be interested to see what they actually are. And can you convert them? Because do we still have that 15th roster spot open?
Yes, we do. Yeah, the Mavericks do have that one spot open, which I think is, as I've settled into the fact that I watched various ball handlers get signed, and it was this painful sort of dichotomy of I wanted them to sign a ball handler, but I hated everyone available. We had a post on MavsMoneyball.com that was 3 ball handlers that would radicalize me. Because this is dudes that people, because it's Schroeder, Schroeder is such an interesting player. He's with the Lakers now, and the Lakers have the Lakers are team bad vibes.
Just up and down the roster.
It's really something, and it's we got so used to a team that had good vibes that I think that there's an element of us, maybe not people who are in this chat, but the more casual among us who take that sort of thing for granted, where it's just you got to like your coworkers. If you're together with them every day, Mavs Moneyball is like this, where it's when if somebody sucks, I'm just I have to tell them.
Yeah. And just how stark it was.
Mm-hmm.
After the trade last year.
That's right.
After getting KP out, and just how much those guys just really clearly just liked each other, And we kind of, I think there's a tendency to kind of overstate that to a certain degree at times, just across the board in professional sports, being because again, these guys are professionals, right? You can have, I think it's more good vibes are bad vibes are worse or more of a detractor than great vibes are an addition. I think.
Yeah, because things come apart quickly.
Yeah.
That's the real rub of it. And it's Luke notes in the chat that the vibes were horrible in Phoenix today. Luka could go back and crush their souls. Man, Luka,
I would love to see some clips out of there from that.
I mean, don't we play them first game of the season?
Yeah, we do. We do in Phoenix. Right?
There's some real, oh God, and it's a late game. Shit, man, we're all going to be starting.
You're ready. Talk about radicalizing you, Kurt. You're going to be. I saw somebody tweet, just your laugh whenever you're on here and past 1 a.m. for the 3rd time in 6 nights.
Oh, it's great. It's great. My wife is prepping divorce papers. I'm really looking. Looking forward to this year.
She probably got them up pretty well.
Just sign everything over to her. Well, thank you for getting us started, Taylor. You got anything else?
No, that's it, man. It's just thanks for doing what you do, and it's nice to be thinking about Mavs basketball again.
Yeah, we got a light crowd now, but it'll pick up as the season goes on. Thanks so much, Taylor.
Yeah, have a good night.
All right, coming up next, we got my man Rolo, who is one of the hosts of the 77 Spaces on Twitter. You can post the link to follow him in there if you're interested. They do nice pre-game shows during the season, and they've been steadily holding shop in season, actually, frankly, better than I've been, doing weekly shows with people talking Mavs and kind of anything else going on. Rolo, what's up? Hit that unmute button.
Hey, Kirk, what's going on, man? How you doing this evening or this night?
I'm okay. I should have gotten on a lot earlier, but my wife did the thing where she's like, well, I'm going to go to bed in 15 minutes. So I come downstairs after recording a show, and she's not done in 15 minutes. She's watching it. She's like, well, the show's supposed to be on. I make her pause it. It's got 25 more minutes. I'm like, lady, come on. It's you can tell me how long the show's at. I'll start it upstairs, but I'd already moved my whole workstation downstairs. It's real first world bullshit around here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Yeah, somebody kind of beat me to the punch in the chat. I felt like the Phoenix the Phoenix Media Day was a little bit more of a bummer than LA's today. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about Mavs Media Day. To me, it just was a lot of I think that was the anticipation for Media Day was a lot bigger than what the Media Day actually ended up being. And then I don't know if anybody in the chat or, anybody down below anywhere saw the Instagram posts of Josh Green. If Josh Green has those handles of those tortillas like he does with the basketball, man, we're in trouble. So,
well, there's something to be said for a boring media day like for me, it's objectively better for the things that we do in media coverage for there to be some sort of bullshit going on, because it means more things to write about. People love drama, things of that nature. Like Kevin Durant being perpetually online is just like one of the best things for Nets media. The Lakers not really liking each other or whatever the hell they have going on there. For us, it was just like very like basic. Hey, we're really looking forward to playing basketball together again, and we're going to figure out how this whole team works together. My man Harold in the chat is making the argument, and I agree with this. This is a good take. He says, the Mavs ceiling is higher than this year, but their floor is lower. And that is absolutely where I have sort of come around to, because you see just like elements in what they're talking about where like Luka Doncic can't help but be like shockingly confident. It's for a guy who always looks like he just came out, like stumbled out of bed. It's like they're all so delighted to be back together. There was just, they obviously missed Brunson, but it's like after watching all the clips, because they, the Mavs will also have that stuff posted on YouTube tomorrow, guys. If you're interested, they will have every single presser. The audio kind of sucks for the reporters, but you can hear things from the players and from the coaches or from Jason Kidd. I don't know. Like I am a chronic pessimist, and at the moment, I'm just feeling absolutely fan-fucking-tastic about the way this team is going to go.
Yeah, man, me too. I feel like, the chemistry is going to pick back up, from where it left off last season. I really do think that, as much as I hated the move initially, me and SJ were pretty vocal about the Christian Wood move. But, we got Christian Wood, like I said, for a bag of Skittles and Boban. So, I mean, we'll take it. We'll see how we can integrate him in and see how he fits. And obviously as a sixth man coming off the, for a sixth man of the year campaign, hopefully. But yeah, man, I was going to ask you before your viral tweet, you had sent out another tweet earlier saying, what is the most likely thing that's going to be stated on media day? Did you pick a winner out of those?
No, because like there were a couple of really good ones. Let's go find that. That's a good. I forgot I did that this morning. Like I do a lot of like tweet stuff and go away. Everybody, like, for as much as I live online, there are times like Mondays are always like categorically my worst day. Oh God. If anybody missed this, The Onion posted an article, Luka Doncic spends offseason adding new complaints to repertoire, which just, it ended me. Like I was in a meeting when somebody tagged me in this and I saw it and I had to mute my computer to keep from laughing because it was just so ridiculous. All right, where is that tweet? Man, I found here we go. Just so much bad. Like I just tweet a lot of garbage. Why does anybody follow me? I am the worst at this sort of thing. Our man Jose, not Jose in our group chat, Rolo, but my man Jose, who is out there on the DNP list. Get well soon, Jose. Just said we're a young team from Jason Kidd. That killed me. The Mavs are currently the 8th oldest team, so if they say anything about being young, scream at them. Okay, they can be old and it's fine. Things of that nature. There were some. We still have a Suns blogger shared with me. We still have no idea how we beat the Suns by 60 points in game 6 and 7. I like that one. My goal is to get him paid. Jason Kidd on Christian Wood. That's a pretty good guess. I like that one. Someone said Reggie Bullock will use the phrase "God willing." I really like that one a lot. It's Dalton Triggs said it's amazing from Luka Doncic because you can tell like English is his second language because Luka, or like his fourth language really, because Luka will sometimes use like descriptors like amazing and unbelievable the way you and I use the words and when we're talking, because it's like that's how he gathers his thoughts. Someone hoped that my man Irving asked that hoped that someone would ask a follow-up on how the Bang Bros summer went. Really like that one. I'm really disappointed. The Bang Bros was an incredible stuff. Yeah, so it's nothing fantastic because it was so like I didn't give it enough time as that sort of day. But that's a good one. I like that question.
Yeah, and then the last thing, so as resident, and mayor and president of Josh Green Island, it does my heart good to hear, you coming around there. So I'm really really happy to hear that. So I think that Josh Green is definitely going to take maybe a baby step, maybe a bigger step. Who knows? Depends on what kid allows him. How much rope he gives him this season. But I hope that he's able to take advantage of it and just play with confidence. I think that's the biggest thing, is just to play with confidence.
The confidence is so important. That's where I'm not sure if it's live yet, but I saw some photos of Jaden Hardy talking with Nick and Isaac over on Locked on Mavs, and the dude just beams. And confidence is not something that can be taught. It's a thing a person has or that they gain. And Green is just an exceptional athlete compared to the rest of the roster. And he's got to figure out a way to put certain things together to be functional. He cannot be a 6'5" version of Dwight Powell out there running around looking physically fit. You got to give me some statistical contributions. And I would love to be wrong about Josh Green and have people dig up old tweets from 2020 on, because if Josh Green is good, then the Mavericks are good. I care about that. I don't care about my own takes. I was right about Luka Doncic. I can win. I win that one forever. Not like it was particularly hard, but apparently it was hard enough since he fell in the draft. Everything else is just we want this team to be good. We want them to be fun. I was talking to Josh Bowe about this earlier tonight, Rolo, and the first 2 months of the year sucked. It's just the last 3.5 months, 4 months were incredible. And I'm just hoping for a little more consistency through the year,
I agree, man. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. It didn't seem like they could buy a bucket, man. They could put the ball in the ocean, the first 2 months. So, I hope that they just come out and fire on all cylinders, starting off, and then, just start from a position of advantage instead of from a disadvantage. So my last thing, Kirk, before I get off here, man, I really appreciate you bringing me up, and I always really appreciate you shouting us out. 77 Spaces. We're gonna have Istok Franco as our guest this Wednesday, so he's gonna be on at 5:30 p.m. Central. So man, I really appreciate you, buddy.
So Istok will be staying up late. It's also important that you guys understand that Istok looks like the most handsome Bond villain. And you guys asked me great questions. I'm really looking forward to that. That will be a must tune in. Istok, for some reason, writes at D Magazine instead of with me. I don't know why. You guys should ask him. Mavs Moneyball, much cooler site than D Magazine. Just kidding.
I'll ask him, man. I don't have any problem asking him. No problem.
No, Istok was incredible because, so he's like English, second language, third language, whichever. He would turn in 3,500 word posts. And because I'm kind of a wuss of an editor, I'd be like, okay. And then he goes to D Magazine and they have actual editorial standards. So he's he's had to write different stuff. He's a great, I'm really glad that he's found a spot writing, because he's just these dudes, and you and I've talked about this, I suck at math. So the guys that can explain math to me are invaluable. And so he's been a real boon to the Mavs community. So, well, thanks for hanging out tonight, buddy.
Yeah, Kirk, I really appreciate you, man. We'll keep it going during the regular season. Hopefully you could stop by a couple of times, and I'll definitely be checking out the Mavs Party, and the Mavs therapy sessions, undoubtedly. So thanks.
Hopefully we have very few therapy sessions.
Yeah.
My goal is to have 25 or fewer Mavs therapy sessions, which, if you're doing the math there, I'm saying the Mavs are going to win 57 games. Now, is that right? Oh, well, we'll see. All right, Rolo, thanks so much. We'll talk soon. All right. So since nobody else wants to talk, we're going to do a short chat tonight. I see a lot of the regulars out there. Here's the thing that would really help me, you guys. I'm going to do this a little more this year. I don't like asking for this sort of stuff. Depending on your podcast app, if you could go leave a 5-star review or a 1-star review, because that'd be funny, or just a review of some sort, both written and like the star type thing. That sort of thing really helps us on the algorithm. We do okay. Like there's some other ones, Mavs Chats things that do better just because of the kind of audience they've been doing this sort of thing longer. I'd really appreciate your help there. I just mentioned this. There's another podcast which is up on our feed. We did one that's also, before Mavs Media Day. Josh and I are going to start pounding the pavement really regularly, trying to get up posts. I don't know if we're going to do a daily show. It depends on how regular we can get in front of the mic. But, we've hired contributors that I'm probably going to try to bring on and have talk about the Mavs. It's going to be a fun year. It may not be quite as exciting as last year because that came out of nowhere. But I just, as we head into this season, I really recommend that everybody try to enjoy themselves because Luka Doncic is going to be 24. This stuff goes faster, much, much faster than you think. Watching a 41-year-old Dirk Nowitzki play basketball, it's like, what happened? Where did all that time go? Okay, team, you guys have been wonderful. Thanks for hanging out on a Monday night. The show will go live probably Tuesday afternoon for anybody interested. But thanks so much for your time, and we will talk soon.